Exploring the Shadows of the Night, the fascinating history of vampires. Welcome to the enveloping darkness where ancient and modern legends intertwine, giving rise to one of the most intriguing figures of the human imagination, the vampire. Get ready to unravel the mysteries behind these mythical beings as we delve into their multifaceted origins and evolution over the centuries. Since the dawn of humanity, stories of creatures feeding on the lifeblood of the living have populated myths and folklore from various cultures around the world. But what led human minds to conceive of these dark beings? Come unravel with us the mythological origins of these enigmatic creatures and discover how their legends resonate through time, connecting ancient civilizations in a mosaic of fears and fascinations. Enter the dark world of European folklore, where vampire tales came to life on moonless nights, haunting villages and feeding the popular imagination with their macabre habits. What were the real events behind these legends? Did epidemics, natural disasters, and inexplicable occurrences give rise to these dark tales, or is there a deeper truth hidden in the shadows? Get ready to also delve into the world of literature and pop culture, where the vampire has been given new life, featuring as an icon of modern fantasy. From the seductive immortality of Dracula to the sparkling, romantic vampires of contemporary series, join us as we explore how these creatures have reinvented themselves over time, continuing to captivate and intrigue the curious minds of generation after generation. Prepare for a journey that will challenge your beliefs, ignite your imagination, and leave you thirsting for more knowledge about the beings that inhabit the shadows of the night, the vampires. Mythological origins, exploring the ancient myths of vampires. As we delve into the depths of human history, we encounter a universe of myths and legends that resonate through the centuries, shaping our deepest views and fears. Among these ancient narratives, tales of vampire-like creatures stand out, transcending cultural and temporal boundaries to connect us with the mysteries of the past. The ancient Sumerians, pioneers of civilization in the Mesopotamian region, wove tales of demonic beings that fed on the life essence of humans, laying the groundwork for what would come to be known as vampires. These shadowy entities were feared as nocturnal predators, capable of stealing the life force of those who dared to cross their paths in the darkness. The Babylonians, heirs to Sumerian culture, also contributed to vampire folklore with their own interpretations and myths. In their narratives, we find demonic creatures thirsty for human blood, whose presence aroused terror and apprehension in ancient communities, reflecting the inherent fears and uncertainties of the human condition. In ancient Greece, the cradle of Western civilization, myths about beings that fed on the lives of the living took on various forms, from lamias, seductive female creatures that devoured children, to empusas, demonic entities that disguised themselves as beautiful women to lure their victims. These legends served not only to entertain but also to impart moral teachings and warnings about the dangers lurking in the shadows. The Romans, in turn, absorbed and adapted many of the Greek myths into their own mythology, incorporating elements of vampirism into their stories and beliefs. The Styges, for example, were monstrous creatures that fed on the blood of the living, while the lemurs were restless spirits of the dead that returned to haunt the living during the night. As we explore these ancient narratives, we are confronted with the persistence of a fundamental human archetype, the fear of the unknown, the struggle against forces beyond our understanding, and the quest for protection against invisible threats that lurk in the shadows of the night. Thus, the mythological origins of vampires remind us of the eternal battle between light and darkness, life and death, echoing in our hearts since the dawn of humanity. Exploring European folklore, the dark roots of vampires. As we delve into the depths of European folklore, we encounter a world shrouded in mystery and shadows, where legends of nocturnal creatures haunt the minds of villagers and townsfolk for centuries. Among all these tales, none is as enigmatic and feared as that of vampires, whose obscure origins find fertile ground in the lands of the Balkans and Eastern Europe. In these regions marked by a turbulent history and a landscape full of contrasts, legends of the undead who fed on human blood to quench their insatiable thirst arose. The accounts of these sinister creatures spread like wildfire, finding resonance in the superstitious minds of local communities and deeply rooting themselves in popular culture. Often, vampire sightings were associated with catastrophic events such as epidemics of deadly diseases, natural disasters, or even the sudden and inexplicable death of individuals within the community. Faced with these terrible and incomprehensible events, people sought supernatural explanations, turning to the legends and superstitions that permeated their everyday world. The figure of the vampire thus became a convenient explanation for the inexplicable, a way to make sense of the chaos and tragedy that plagued people's lives. However, while offering a comforting explanation, belief in vampires also fueled fear and paranoia, turning the night into a dangerous and unknown territory where creatures of darkness lurked in search of their helpless prey. But why did these legends gain such strength and persistence in people's minds? What made them so convincing and terrifying, even in an era of scientific and rational advancement? As we explore European folklore, we are confronted with questions that transcend mere entertainment, delving into the depths of the human psyche and revealing the deepest fears and desires that have inhabited our hearts since time immemorial. Exploring the influence of Dracula and the rise of vampires in pop culture. In the dark universe of literature and pop culture, vampires have risen as iconic figures, fueling human imagination with their aura of mystery and seduction. The turning point for this meteoric rise was the publication of Dracula, a masterpiece of Gothic horror written by Bram Stoker and released in 1897. This literary landmark not only defined the modern concept of vampires but also initiated a fascinating journey through the intricacies of the human mind and the shadows of the night. Dracula, with its intricate plot and sinister atmosphere, introduced the world to the aristocratic and enigmatic Count Dracula, an immortal vampire who exerts an irresistible fascination over his victims. Stoker's masterful narrative plunged readers into a world of terror and romance, challenging social conventions and exploring the boundaries between desire and destruction, love and death. From this seminal starting point, vampires began to proliferate in literature, finding new forms of expression and adaptation across a variety of media. From the dark corridors of Gothic novels to the dizzying heights of cinema and television, vampires have secured a prominent place in pop culture, becoming symbols of forbidden desire, immortality, and supernatural power. Classic films like Nosferatu, 1922, and Interview with the Vampire, 1994, based on Anne Rice's work, helped solidify the vampire's image in the public's mind, while TV series like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and True Blood explored new facets of this dark universe, challenging conventions and reinventing myths. In addition to cinema and television, vampires have also found a home in the pages of comics and the pixels of video games, offering new possibilities for interaction and exploration for fans eager for more thrills and mysteries. Today, vampires continue to exert a lasting fascination on popular imagination, evolving and adapting to the cultural and technological changes that shape our world. Their omnipresent presence in our culture is a testament to their unique ability to seduce and terrorize us, prompting us to question our own darkest desires and the limits of our humanity. So, this is today's video. If you enjoyed it, subscribe to our channel to not miss any updates and leave your like. Until next time.